Hey guys, it's GoldenSteelTV here. This is the first video of 2021 and my first Roblox video in a long time. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded a video in January or otherwise for a little while, for a long while, because I've been so busy with my life right now, dealing with college, family and other shit, but you know what? I'm back, and that's the only thing that matters now. Right? As you can see, we're playing a Roblox playing game, the Roblox Flight Simulator, and yeah, just want to show you guys my flying abilities in this game. I have been playing this game a lot lately, and yeah, and I have been really addicted to it for a while, and yeah, I just want to show you guys how much I love this game and 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 how fun it is to fly in this game. All right, all right, that's the Dream Lifter right there, a modified Boeing 747. That's that variant, the Boeing 747 variant that you just saw, the Dreamliner. It's supposed to handle cargo carrying the airframe, the pieces of the Boeing 787 airframe. From what I've read online about the Dreamlifter. All right, we're now taxiing. We're about to fly to Perth on an Air France Boeing 777. And as implied by the company name, Air France is an airline out of France, obviously. And yeah, the name says it all. Okay, now let's discuss what has happened during my break from making videos, especially in sports. Alright. We're seeing the Dreamlifter about to take off. We'll take off right after it leaves the airport. Alright. Okay. In football, we had the NFL playoffs. So well, let's talk about that. In the wild card weekend, we started off first with Raiders versus Bengals. The Bengals won with a game-sealing interception in the final seconds of the fourth quarter, helping seal the Bengals' first playoff win in more than 3 decades. Their last playoff win before that was in 1990 or 1991, if we're talking about the actual calendar. The last time the Bengals won a playoff game, Seinfeld was on TV. The Bulls were about to have their first repeat. Home Alone came out. Germany reunified, and the Soviet Union was about to dissolve in several months. But yeah, as I already said, the Bengals won the playoff game for the first time in 30 years. And yeah, that's it. We'll talk more about the Bengals playoff run as the video progresses. Let's get to the other playoff game on the same day. The game between the Patriots and the Bills. It was a big blowout with the Bills scoring a touchdown on every possession, except for the last possession of the game in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, where they took a knee to win the game. Alright, we got cleared for takeoff, and we're now airborne and on our way to Perth. Yeah. The Patriots did nothing to stop the Bills' dominating offense and defense from dominating the whole game. And yeah, that was it. Fell asleep for bits during the game because of how much of a blowout it had become. You know. The next day on that weekend, we had Eagles versus Bucks. The Eagles weren't supposed to be in the playoffs, but however, by luck, they have made it there thanks to their running offense that had kept them going throughout the season. The Eagles at the beginning weren't supposed to be a playoff contender in that season because they were rebuilding at the time, and they were still coming off fresh from the Doug Peterson era and the Carson Wentz era, and starting Jalen Hurts and getting a new coach in Nick Sirianni, and hope I said his last name right. However, the Eagles' offense on the running game that they mostly ran on actually worked, and that was a major factor in helping the Eagles get to the playoffs in the first place. But because they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs in the first place, it was no surprise that they were a first round exit against the Bucks, who really took care of them in the game, eliminating them right then and there. And we had 49ers versus Cowboys, which also aired on Nickelodeon. And it was actually fun watching the Nickelodeon broadcast of that game. And that game ended in a controversial manner because the Cowboys had run out of timeouts, and Dak should have thrown a Hail Mary in the final seconds of the game, but time had run out when he failed to spike, so or even take a knee, or probably I shouldn't say take a knee, but he failed to stop the clock because the Cowboys had run out of timeouts, so the game was over. The 49ers beat them, and yeah, that was it. It was a pretty messed up. It had a pretty fucked up ending, but yeah. Later that day, we had another AFC wildcard game between the Steelers and Chiefs. As the Steelers weren't supposed to be there, as they had gotten there because of the Raiders beating the Chargers in the wild season finale that should have ended in a tie that could have eliminated from the Steelers from any playoff contention. So it was also no surprise that the Steelers got knocked out very fast, being blown out by the Chiefs. And that was it. The Steelers lost to the Chiefs. It was also the final game of Ben Roethlisberger's career, as he finally officially retired after an 18-year career in the league since 2004, spending his entire career with the Steelers, winning 2 Super Bowls and having over 60,000 passing yards. It was a sad ending to his career, but hey, at least he had one last playoff run before riding out into the sunset. So yeah. So at least his career didn't end terribly as we thought it would. Alright. We made it here to Perth. We just landed here. It was a little bit of a rough landing, but at least we made it. Alright, we're gonna switch to another plane right after we taxi to the gate. Alright. the next night, to conclude the Super Bowl wildcard weekend, that game was on Martin Luther King Day, in which everyone wasn't at school, so it made perfect sense to put the Cardinals versus Rams game on that night. The Cardinals had a pitiful performance against the Rams, with the offense just getting destroyed by the defense. And the Rams really were controlling the destiny throughout the game. And by that, the Cardinals were first round exits. They had an undefeated record, but somewhere along the line, with injuries, especially to Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins crippling the team, the team just fell off the cliff, just like that. And it's a propeller plane just flying over the airport that I just saw. Right. We're about to fly the Airbus A320. I've flown on the Airbus A320 before when I went on the when I went on the trip to Florida with my family. And we're using the airline called JetBlue, me and my family used that airline for that trip. And we really loved flying with that airline. We had snacks. We had a great selection of cable TV and satellite radio on board the plane. And I mindlessly used the entertainment system on board by watching cable TV and listening to satellite radio while in flight. And yeah, really liked the experience of flying with JetBlue for the Florida trip. So now I'm just using the aircraft type and the airline that I flew with for the trip, just to relive the nostalgia and the memories that I have of that trip. Alright, we're about to take off now. We had the Nets on to the second round of the playoffs. We had the AFC divisional round with the Bengals being pitted against the first seed Titans, who didn't play in the first round by virtue of being the one seed. And it was it was close. But the Titans just weren't that consistent throughout that game. Not even Derrick Henry, who was coming back from a broken foot injury he sustained in the middle of the season, could help save the Titans from from losing control of their destiny in that game. In the end, the Bengals came up big and they won against the Titans with a game-winning field goal from Evan McPherson to seal the game and to move on to the AFC Championship game against who we'll talk about now, the Chiefs against the Bills. Chiefs versus Bills turned out to be a wild game to watch, with the final minutes of the fourth quarter being the craziest final minutes of the game in regulation that you'll ever see. The Bills and Chiefs tried to do whatever they could to try to win the game in the fourth quarter. The Bills scored a touchdown with only 13 seconds left, but when you only have 13 seconds left, you know you're getting screwed. When the Chiefs came back, had all the timeouts they could use, and that allowed their kicker Harrison Butker to kick the field goal to send the game into overtime. The coin toss was won by the Chiefs, and they ended up winning the game with a Travis Kelce touchdown from Patrick Mahomes to finally end the crazy game. It was such a devastating loss for the Bills, who still came across the playoff heartbreak that they've been experiencing throughout the franchise's existence since 1960, when they were a part of the AFL that later merged with the NFL in 1970. So yeah, it was really heartbreaking for Bills fans to experience that loss, especially when you have especially when they had their quarterback Josh Allen do everything in his power to try to get his team to win. But in the end, the bigger and better guys always come up big at the end. That was it. All that mattered was that the Chiefs beat the Bills in heartbreaking fashion, and yeah, that was it. But still, I loved watching that game from start to finish. And yeah. But you know what? The Mahomes and Allen rivalry is what we're going to see for many, many years to come. And they'll be dominating the NFL for as long as they're playing, and for as long as they have great careers ahead of them. And now on to the NFC divisional round. The 49ers faced the one-seeded Packers, led by the 2021 MVP Aaron Rodgers. The Packers initially had control of the game, but due to the stupidity, but their offense suddenly stopped trying, and that was only made worse by a pathetic play from the special teams, especially with the blocked field goal at the end of the first half, and a blocked punt that was returned for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. That game was over when the 49ers kicked the field goal in the final seconds to end the game. And yeah, that was it. The Packers ended up getting folding after being a 1-seed team that skipped the first round, and only to be knocked down by their kryptonite, the 49ers, right there. What will happen to Aaron Rodgers next after that game? The question is, we do not know. If he leaves after the offseason for another team, then that loss could serve as a bitter and sadder farewell for that man, as the Packers have always folded every time they make it to the biggest stage in the playoffs, and whatever destiny they have control of, they always screw it up at the end. Nobody knows for sure if Rodgers will stay or go. Only time will tell, though. So yeah, especially given the rumors of him threatening to leave the team back in the offseason. So yeah. All right, we made it here to ISO. That's the abbreviation of the name that I don't know how to pronounce. That's of this island and airport that we're at right now. We're switching to another plane, the Boeing 737, flying for Southwest Airlines. My brother has used Southwest Airlines for himself, pretty much. for when he traveled down to Texas to catch up with us when he couldn't go because his work wouldn't let him leave with my family. So he had to go to Texas on his own by flying with Southwest to Texas. And he used that airline again for when he went to he went to Colorado with his friends. So yeah. Right. We're about to take off pretty soon. Let's continue talking about the NFL. The NFL divisional round. Alright. In the NFC divisional round, we had the Rams against the Bucks. It was also another close game that was decided by one score. So the Bucks and Rams were really at it with each other throughout the whole game, trying to make clutch plays in the fourth quarter, which ended when after the Bucks scored a touchdown to tie the game after trying to come back from a 27-3 deficit. But unfortunately, the Rams had other plans. But unfortunately for the Bucks, the Rams had other plans. Matthew Stafford threw a big pass to Cooper Kupp to set up the team for a field goal that they successfully kicked to end the game. And yeah, that was it. That was the NFC divisional round. After that game, Tom Brady retired, which I'll talk about in the next video, because there's so much about his retirement that I'll get to. So I'm just only keeping it short, just saying only that Tom Brady retired after losing in the divisional round against the Rams. So yeah, I'll get into it. I'll go more into it in the next video or so. Right. And now, on to the AFC Championship between the Bengals and the Chiefs. A rematch of the great regular season game that they had towards the end of the regular season, where Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase exploded in that game. But in this game, though, the Chiefs had controlled the destiny for much of the second half, but by the first half. But by the second half, the Bengals woke up and came up big after being shut down by the Chiefs defense for the first half. So when the Bengals came up big, the Chiefs just stopped. The Chiefs' play just came to a screeching halt, with the Chiefs' defense letting the Bengals explode, with Joe Burrow finally making big plays in the second half, and yeah, the Bengals tied the game in the last minutes of the game. But then the Chiefs tried to come back, and they kicked and once again, just like in the previous playoff game against the Bills, the Chiefs kicked a field goal to send the game into overtime. The Chiefs won the toss once again, but this time though, things turned out differently for them when the Chiefs attempted to win the game, but Patrick Mahomes threw an errant pass that got intercepted by the Bengals, who were able to take advantage of the interception by having their kicker, Evan McPherson, once again kick a clutch field goal to finally end the game and win it. In the end, the Bengals won the AFC Championship game, and now they're on to the Super Bowl. Something that they haven't won throughout their entire existence of the franchise. Throughout the entire existence of the franchise. Alright, we're trying to land, but we're going around because we didn't lower the throttle. We didn't lower the throttle quick enough to ensure a safe and smooth landing. So we'll try again. Alright. Alright. But like I said, the Bengals are going to be in the Super Bowl, and versus the team that we'll talk about in just a sec. They're trying to win. They'll try to win the first Super Bowl of the entire in franchise history. Every time they made it to the Super Bowl just twice, losing every time against the 49ers led by Joe Montana in 1982 and 1989. Alright, we're landing now. After a turnaround, after a go around, we finally landed safely here at Larnaca, which at the airport on an island and airport. And an island based off Cyprus, which is located in the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah. Just near Turkey and Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. All right. For those of you who just explaining for those of you who don't know where Cyprus is located. Alright, now let's get to the NFC Championship game. It was a rematch of the Monday night game in Week 10 and a season finale, and an epic season finale between the Rams and the 49ers. It was close, and that game ended with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing an interception in the final minutes of the fourth quarter, which sealed the Rams' win. And by that, the Rams made it to the Super Bowl. We'll talk and now we'll talk about the Super Bowl in just a bit. All right. We just made it here. We're going to switch to another airline and aircraft type. All right. We'll talk NBA headlines. Just only a select few. All right. NBA headlines that I haven't gotten to because I've been away from YouTube for a while, which the headlines included Steph Curry finally breaking Ray Allen's all-time record of the most threes scored in the history of the NBA, and Klay Thompson finally coming back after a 2-year absence due to devastating injuries that he sustained, including a torn ACL in the 2019 finals and the torn Achilles injury that he sustained shortly before the start of the 2021 season. And yep, that's all I could share. These are just notable NBA headlines that I'll share. I'll get more into the latest NBA headlines in the next video or so. Alright, let's get to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 56 between the Rams and Bengals. Alright, it should be a great game to watch. And win or lose, they should try their best at and winning the Lombardi Trophy. Who's going to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion? I think it's going to be the Rams who will win it. They have a great offense and a great defense too, and 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 should and if the Rams offense should be very careful though, and if they don't make any mistakes, their offense will be great and throughout the game, and then they can control the destiny of the game. But to top everything off though, the Rams defense needs to make big plays to stop the Bengals offense from making any progress on the field, and especially when you have a defensive line led by Aaron Donald and the secondary led by Jalen Ramsey. So this is a big game for the Rams offense and defense at the biggest stage, showing the world what they're capable of. All right. What about the Bengals though? If they want to win, they must stay consistent on the field and try to make big plays too. And Joe Burrow and the duo of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase should try to make some good plays, especially making especially on big touchdowns that could give the Bengals a good lead. Not to mention that the Bengals defense is pretty good too, and the Bengals defense makes some big plays throughout the regular season and in the playoffs too, and they continue to perform like before. The Bengals could control the destiny of the game and try to win it all for the first time in franchise history. All right, we're clear for takeoff by air traffic control. We're using a Boeing 747 with Korean Air, which is an airline based in South Korea, obviously. Flying a jumbo jet that has been flying the skies since 1969, the year the aircraft was first introduced. All right, we're gonna go back to where we began our to where it all began for us in this video. All right, it should be a nice and smooth flight. Right. But like I said, if the Bengals control the destiny of the game and hold on to it, they could possibly win it all and win their first Lombardi Trophy for the first time in franchise history. Something their fans have been painfully waiting for throughout the team's entire existence. All right. Who will win Super Bowl MVP? If the Rams win the Super Bowl MVP, that award could go to Matthew Stafford or Cooper Kupp, or somebody else who has performed better. As for the Bengals, if they do win, the Super Bowl MVP could be Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase or Joe Mixon if he decides to go off, or somebody else that's on the team that's also gone off. So whoever wins Super Bowl MVP, it's just a matter of who it's just a matter of who gives out a great performance in the game and helping and being instrumental in helping the team win the big game. All right. So that's everything about the Super Bowl that I'll explain. I hope to get this video uploaded before the Super Bowl. If not, then everything I say about in this video is outdated. But yeah. Alright, we're about to land now. There's another plane about to land. So we're gonna have to be careful and choose which runway we can use. We've reduced throttle to try to go slow and to make landing easier. That's the same reason I have the flaps down. All right. As you may or may not know, I love aviation. I love reading aviation related articles and watching watching documentaries about it too, especially those plane crashes. Sadly, but the plane crash documentaries, I actually genuinely enjoy watching them, just because they're informative and just show how the aviation industry has to change and what they can improve on after a terrible accident. Alright. I got told by air traffic control to take that runway 36R. Don't worry, we're on the right runway, so it's not bad. But we gotta wait for the other plane that just landed to pass through. Alright. It's a big traffic here at this airport. Alright. And like I said, the plane crash documentaries I've watched are pretty helpful in explaining what happened, what was the cause, how an investigation into those accidents took place, what was the cause, what were the causes, what are the things that have to be improved on in the aviation industry as a result of those tragedies. If you're not into morbid documentaries like that, then don't watch them. But if you're into aviation, or if you're just morbidly curious, then go ahead and watch them. All right, we're about to taxi into the gate. All right. I'm now clear to taxi to the gate. Alright, we're almost there. Alright, we're about to park. We're just gonna have to be careful. Alright, stop. Alright. We made it here. Wait. This is where we'll stop for now. Alright. Alright. Sorry if I'm not talking too much, guys. I don't think I have anything else to say. Other than talking about sports, talking about why I love this game, and talking about my love for aviation. It's just that if you didn't know that I'm an aviation nerd, now you know. But yeah, I love playing this game just because it's fun to fly and to fly with different aircraft types, fly with different airlines that I choose. And of course, doing some crazy, insane stunts using smaller planes. And having a variety of aircraft, especially smaller aircraft and military aircraft to choose from, you know? And having lots of places to go in this game. So yeah, that's what I love about playing the Roblox Flight Simulator. And that's the Air Canada Airbus A333 that you just saw spawning. Alright, I believe that's everything for now. In fact, as always, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.